Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in. Today I chose my own again because I don't know, the recent today's words of wisdom, it's like repetitive from the past. So I chose mine from this Kyoten, the Rebirth of Buddha. It's from page 32 and I quote, "For a higher purpose. For a higher purpose." Okie dokes, I'm sure you guys will need a little more explanation to this, so I would like to read 2.5 pages from page 32 in this Kyoten. For a higher purpose. All of you, my disciples, can you recall my teachings of abandoning attachment? Can you recall what I described as attachments? On this earth, people's will is apt to become weak, and they tend to be enslaved to their physical bodies. They will give in to the desires of their bodies or the desires that arise from their bodies. I taught that human beings have such a tendency. I wouldn't say desires themselves are evil, because human beings are also creatures living under the law of preservation of species. However, the preservation of species must not be for the sake of mere preservation, as it is for animals and plants. You who have studied the laws, you who are undergoing spiritual training, and are called Buddha's disciples, must go beyond simple preservation. You must not make it your goal just to live on earth. Your life on earth is approved only when you live for a purpose that surpasses mere living. So you must not mistake the means to live for the purpose. Your life on earth is a means to support something higher. Your life on earth itself is to serve a higher purpose. Do not forget that. It is natural for you to have worldly desires. These desires themselves are inseparable from your life's energy. Abandoning all desires may mean cutting off life's energy. That is why I have always taught you, abandon indecent desires and abandon vicious thoughts. I surely told you so. Abandon sensual lust. Abandon vicious desires for money, abandon vicious desires for dominance, abandon vicious desires for possession, and abandon vicious tendency for gluttony. I said this to you. Do not speak obscene words. Do not act on vicious thoughts. These things are what I have constantly taught. Thank you, Lord God. Alright, so I think that clarified today's words of wisdom for a higher purpose in this section right here. Your life on earth is approved only when you live for a purpose that surpasses mere living. So Master Okawa has taught us that we're not animals, we're not just plants. A human being is very noble because we can have faith, from there we can have love, and from there we can live for a higher purpose. And that is not just merely survive. That's not the purpose of life, to survive. No. Of course, to survive, you do need a lot of, that in itself is already a training for, maybe for some of us, and some people in some countries. However, there's much more meaning to life than just surviving, which is, obviously, in speaking from these terms, it is to not be enslaved by our worldly desires. This instinct of surviving comes from worldly desires, such as the 3 basic desires: sleep, sex, and food or drink, right? Without these, humanity will go extinct, won't be able to survive. So it is in our DNA, it is in our physical body, it comes with it. So we have that desire that wells up no matter what. However, he's saying that it's important not to be a slave of those desires and never forget a higher purpose. And that higher purpose, in Buddhist terms, would be attaining enlightenment for the purpose of giving mercy and compassion, or in Christian teachings, loving thy neighbor. That's the higher purpose of life, gaining wisdom, enlightenment, and spreading love and compassion. That's the purpose of life, that's the higher purpose of life, and don't be enslaved by the lower, not purpose, but the means to survive. That'll be all for today. Thanks for tuning in, and see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.